What's up, people? I'm going to talk about the top 3 insecurities that turn people off. Number 1, making excuses. When you make excuses, you explain to the world that you are not taking control of your own life. And when you don't take control over your own life, then others take control over you. So it's a powerful statement, but it's the truth. So when you're making excuses, then nobody wants to be around you because it brings a negative vibe to others, and nobody's gonna want to be around others that makes excuses. And the thing is, let's just say you're applying for a job, right? And another person or a friend of yours gets the job, maybe because they know the boss, right? That may not be the case, or it may be the case. However, if you are basing it off that person getting the job because they knew the boss, then it leaves less room for growth for your own personal self, right? Because if you put in the time, you put in the skill, and you put in the effort, then it doesn't matter whether your friend knows the boss. If you have the qualification and you have the skills and you have everything that is needed to get the job done, it won't matter whether the person knows the boss or not, because that boss has a quota to make. And if they don't make that quota, then they get fired. So the conflict of interest doesn't benefit that boss. However, if you have that mindset that everybody's out to get you, or that person got the job because they were friends with the boss, then that's making excuses. And you're falling into a victimhood, and there's no room for growth when you do that. Number 2 is complaining, right? So when you complain, that's another negative trait that nobody is going to want to be around you if you're always complaining, because everybody else has their own issues and their own problems that they're trying to navigate through. It's a part of life. So when you're complaining, nobody is going to want to be around you, because it's a negative reinforcement. I mean, the world is wild as it is. It's wild and crazy as it is, especially COVID and everything. The last thing that others and people want to gravitate to is more negativity. You know, people are going to want to do things that are also best for themselves, but also they got jobs, they got kids, they have all these other things that are going on in their lives, and the last thing they want to hear is somebody complain to them about their problems when they're trying to figure out solutions for themselves. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, having to explain yourself about everything. That's a top insecurity, because you're basically saying that you don't agree with what you just said, right? And when you don't agree with what you just said, and you don't stick to your principles, it leaves others to challenge you and your own thought process. All right? It's okay when others challenge you and you have an explanation. That's fine, but if you're always having to explain yourselves, that shows little confidence. It shows that you're not sticking to your own principles as an individual and as a person. And if somebody challenges you, that's okay if somebody challenges you. But the problem is, if you're changing your thought process because somebody else doesn't agree with what you said, then that doesn't show confidence. That doesn't show strength. Now, it's okay to have an open mind about things that others provide to you. But if you're always changing your thought process because others don't agree with yours, then that shows insecurity and it shows a lack of confidence, and that turns people off. Now, to counteract that, making excuses is by showing accountability. Okay, so that's the positive part, is showing accountability. Okay, for example, I mentioned earlier about not getting the job. Somebody asks you, "Hey, what happened at that job? Did you get it or not?" And you say, "No, I didn't get the job, and it didn't work out." Okay, and you just leave it at that. It's like, you know what? I didn't get the job, and it didn't work out. Showing that, explaining that, and just saying that, then the people that ask you that question, they'll respect that, right? And then also counteracting the excuses, you use positive reinforcement along with accountability, right? So the positive reinforcement, you know, I may not have gotten that job, but there are certain skills that I could have added that could help me get the job the next time. It may not be that same job at that same company, but it can be somewhere else. And I've added the skills and the things that I needed to build to where I'll be able to get that job. All right. It can be in a relationship. Maybe that there's a woman that you really were attracted to, you wanted to date, or vice versa. It can be something that you really want, but you just didn't have the skills. Maybe just that you didn't have the communication skills. You didn't work out in the gym to where you can develop your body. Mentally, you weren't ready. Spiritually, all those things that you need to develop to become a better man or to become a better woman, maybe you just didn't have that at that time. Okay, and when you have that type of that mindset, then you're able to grow and you're able to develop. Okay, and that'll counteract the excuses. And as for complaining, right, the antidote for complaining is changing your perception, right? So when you change your perception, you're basically flipping the negative in the situation to a positive, right? For example, when you broke up with your girlfriend, right, and she dumped you, right? Instead of complaining about the situation and what happened, you say to yourself, okay, this is a lesson. This is something, what can I learn from this situation to where I don't have the same circumstances repeat itself in the next situation, right? So by changing your perception and asking questions and finding solutions to where you be able to improve the next time around, then that develops confidence and it removes any type of moping and harping on situations that are already done and things that you cannot control. Okay, all right. And as for explaining yourself, right, which you don't need to do, you don't have to explain yourself, right, about the decisions and the things that you are doing to help better you as an overall person. The way to counteract that is to take a step back, evaluate your overall goals and vision, and take a step forward and find solutions, but also stick to your guns, stick to your principles, because your first instinct is usually always right. When you're always second guessing yourself on your first decision, then you're basically telling yourself that you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your abilities. And that provides a level of insecurity But you also got to evaluate the people that you're around that cause you to second guess yourself. Because if that's the case, if a person is always second guessing you and your capabilities, then that means that person is insecure with themselves, and they're putting their insecurities on you, and that's not acceptable. So when that happens, any type of negativity that comes in your realm, you have the responsibility. It's your responsibility to take control of that and say, no, I don't want that negativity in my space. When somebody's talking to you any type of way and you don't like that, that's your responsibility to say, no, I'm not going to tolerate that, right? When you want to have financial freedom in your life, it's your responsibility to develop the skills that you need to become financially free, whether it's reading books that help you with your financial literacy. It can be going to seminars or being around people that have been there and have done that. That's your responsibility. That's not the responsibility of others, but yourself, okay? When it comes to relationships, it's your responsibility to read books and also take action. If there's somebody down the street that you see that is very attractive, talk to them. That interaction may not be perfect, but the fact that you stepped up and spoke to them, they'll respect that, right? And you develop the confidence that you need in order for you to continue to talk to attractive women, if that's something that you're looking to improve upon, right? So those type of traits, confidence, to counteract the insecurities, that will help your overall life and also bring people to you and attract them to you, because you're bringing a level of value and a level of positivity that others want to be around. I'm Zay Learns, out.